I'm not very busy.
Oh, there's no jumping off of this. See.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. As you can read from the title, it says something about a man. And that's something that God placed in my spirit to say that there's something about a man. There's something about a man. That when a man comes into his true existence as himself, a man rises to the pinnacles of a Dr. Martin Luther King, of a brother Malcolm X, of a Marcus Garvey. There's something about a man that can overcome as Moses overcame, having dealt with killing a man and burying a man, and then fleeing into the wilderness for decades on end, and then to have a change of heart to be brought back to serve God. There's something about a man that will allow a man in today's society to be in the community, to be there for his family, to be there to rise above all of the situations and circumstances that he may face, and still be willing to go forward and help others up as well, because it's not about him. He's not doing it for self. He's doing it for community. There's something about a man that will allow a man to find himself in the streets. And while being in the streets, he loses sight of the things of life, of the things that he should go forward with to focus on taking care of his family. And then a child grows up seeing that man having had no father, and will look at that man as someone that they should find attractive enough to pursue the same lifestyle. Someone in the street that you look up to, because there's something about a man. There's something about a man that won't allow a man to compromise, that won't allow a man to bend, to fold, that won't allow a man to go against the family principles and morals that he's been given in life, that he now stands on. There's something about a man that when he gets the call of life, he'll go forward. There's something about a man. Let's think back about that same man being in the Bible, in the scriptures. Joseph, who was handed over into slavery at such a young age. And then to rise to be second in command, let alone his wake in prison. There's something about a man that when he faced everything he had faced in life, yet and still he's willing to go forward and serve his God, and serve that he did very well. There's something about a man that will allow a man to go through the trenches of the streets, pretty much like the trenches of hell, and still come out with a smile, as in the men that were tossed in the fire, the Hebrew boys, and come out without a stench. There's something about a man that will hold tight to his beliefs and serve God. There's something about a man that will put a man in a position to compromise, and he does. And when he compromises, that same man could be the same man that leaves his family and leaves his son and leaves his daughter, which then leaves his son and his daughter with no structure in life. So now his son is growing up without a true identity, a true vision of what a man looks like. So he only idolizes what he sees on TV, on movies, or in his neighborhood. Because the father compromised and left home for whatever reasons. Or the father and the mother couldn't get along, so the father left the children behind versus willing to make it work because of his pride. There's something about a man that will then allow that little girl to go out and entertain older gentlemen because she has daddy issues. There's something about a man that will then find himself occupying the time of that little girl who the father left alone because he's now in that place of feeling like he'll fulfill a void in her life when he's further corrupting her. There's something about a man. There's something about a man that will allow a man to stand as Jesus' father. Jesus' father being whom his natural father, his earthly father, the man to raise him, Joseph, a stepfather, the man who stepped up in life to raise a child that he knew wasn't his, the man that he knew he would gain flack from all the other community leaders, preachers, teachers, or whomever by raising a child that didn't belong to him. There's something about a man that will allow a man to do things that are appearing to be outside of the scope of how he should live, but he's living righteous. There's something about a man that will allow a man like David to go through everything that he went through. And as it is said, where men today may tell their children, I brought you in this world and I'll take you out. But yet and still, when David's son chased him, David fled the scene because David had compassion, understanding some things deeper than his lordship, deeper than his authority and what he could have executed rightfully so on his own son. So may we as men learn from David that sometimes our own children will come after us, and may we flee, and may we flee, and may we flee, because there's something about a man that will not allow a man to raise his hand against children. Even speaking of the Cam Newton situation of recent, however it started, he defended himself without bringing forth bodily harm to the young guys, without pressuring them with a fist, punishing them as they so rightfully deserved at the time for one that was in defense of his own life. Because there's something about a man that will hold a man tight to love, that will hold a man tight to, no matter the fight, the obstruction of justice, how much someone may portray to paint them in a bad light. There's something about a man that will allow a man to stand on principle. There's something about a man that will allow a man to hold tight to his wife, to hold tight to his family, to hold tight to the principles of believing that those two are an item and that his children are in representation of what he puts forward. There's something about a man that will allow a man to be just as humble as they come. And as that man is being just as humble as they come, it gets no humbler than that. Because there's something about a man that even will turn a woman away if that woman feels as though he's too humble and too gentle. But this man is of such goodness and cut from such a clear, clean, rare cloth that that woman who may or may not have daddy issues because of the man that was present or wasn't in her life will look at this man and assume that this man has something wrong with him because he's too soft, he's too gentle. But there's something about a man that will stand firm regardless of how someone views him, when he know he's doing right. No matter what the world may try to portray that you're wrong, pardon me, that your right will be made wrong because they'll make their wrong seem right. There's something about a man that will go ahead and pass a law beyond God's scope of morality just to justify it here on earth when yet in scripture it's still not right. There's something about a man that will allow a man to lust after the material things in life, as today's men are conjured up in the idea that we pursue luxury items, that we pursue cars, that we pursue game systems, that we pursue everything under the sun, and yet and still this is what's called a man. And though I argue not with what a man is in that sense, but yet and still it's painting the picture of what they say a man is. So when you encounter an actual man, it's a foreign language to you, because there's something about a man that may not always register with your heart and with your spirit. But if you listen to him long enough, you'll see what you saw in the conversation by knowing that this man is present, that this man has morals, that this man has a vision. Because there's something about a man that when he speaks, his presence is felt. His presence is felt beyond his words. There's something about a man that won't allow a child in the neighborhood to just be fatherless, to just be astray, to not say anything to that child because that child is not his own. But that man will step up to help be a comforter. That man will step up to help be someone in place that's missing in that child's life. Because there's something about a man that will allow the Spirit of God to go forward in spite of what the world may say is popular or not. Because there's something about a man that will allow you to stand on the platform that he has built, because he didn't build it just for him. He didn't build it just so he can get the fame, the recognition, and the glory. As in Noah, when he built the ark. Noah didn't build the ark just for him and his family. Noah built the ark to take the world into another dimension of life through God's grace. Because there's something about a man that will put forth something knowing that he may not live to see it mature, but he'll still plant the seed of a tree that may take 100 years to fulfill its height, its girth. There's something about a man that will father a child and leave that child because of decisions that he's constantly making in life. And there's something about a man that will step in as Joseph stepped in to be a stepfather. There's something about a man that will allow a man to be all that he can be in spite of his situations and circumstances in life. There's something about a man that will tuck his tail and put his pride to the side because he understands the goals that's at hand. There's something about a man that when you see him, you'll know him. Peace.